Well viewers, welcome to the latest video, and we're going to start having a look at this outboard motor which we featured in one of our earlier videos. I actually picked this up at the car boot sale. We're just going to do a quick evaluation and see what we've got. I don't know a lot about marine engines, but the fuel tank does not reside on the actual engine. Apparently it comes, I think that's the pump just there, and it comes out the front of the motor there. So the tank must be on the boat. So I've just taken a look at the carburetor, and if you pull the choke lever, which is the thing you can just see on the end of the carburetor there, with the little vein sticking out, that is completely seized. That doesn't mean, of course, that it can be unseized, but it is seized at the moment. So if we pull the pull cord to try and rotate the engine, it isn't really turning, so it is kind of stuck at the moment. So this here, I think this is the gear stick, and it is making kind of clunky noises. We can see that the rotor is moving to an extent. So this here, I think this is the kill switch. So you can see that appears to be on, but when you push the button it doesn't go off, so I assume that that's not working. So I'll have to find out what's going on with that. So we're not doing too well here. We've got a stuck carb and a bad kill switch and a throttle that's not twisting. Let's have a look here. Oh, that doesn't look too good. So I will take the coils off and test those probably later on. When I received this motor, these cut spark plugs here, they were already halfway out, so we'll have a look inside there with a boroscope and see what we can get. So this goes directly to the carburetor, and that comes from down below through the front of the motor, so I'm pretty sure that this has a tank off on the boat rather than inside the motor itself. I have to say, they don't look too bad, and they're not really gross. They're not kind of black or anything like that, you know. So that's the other plug, which is a little bit oilier, but you know, it is a two-stroke, I think. Okay, so if I measure these plugs with feeler gauge, this one comes out about 0.5 and this one comes out about 0.7. I think 0.7 is awful big. So if we look at the coils, that one which is, so that seems pretty firm. And we'll give that a quick test in a minute. But this one here, oh, look at that. I think that's supposed to be doing that. So I think we might have a problem with that one. So it seems that I don't have a spanner that'll stop this nut from spinning. See, on a modern engine you would have a captured nut on the back, and that would be fine. But stuff that was made in the 70s and 60s, they just didn't do that. Well, look at this. This is the palaver that I had to go to get the coil off, because see down there, look, I had to jam a spanner down there, and there's loads of room on this thing as well, but you just cannot get to this, and because it's not a captured nut, it just spins and spins and spins and spins. You really need to put a blob of weld on it or something like that, you know what I mean? But it's been on there for a long time too, which doesn't help. Well, that's not coming out. So you know what we're going to do next, don't you? That is well stuck. And it's finally come off. Right, there's our coil. So we'll test that now. Okay, so that's the front there with the coils and the spark plugs removed. You can see the slot head screws. It's very much 60s, early 70s. One of the things we got was this very cheap boroscope made by the Chinese folks, and it seems to work okay. So just in case the boroscope video doesn't quite work out, you can see there most of the cylinders look pretty clean, but if you look at the bottom one, there's a bit of rust going on at the edges, which is probably why the motor's jammed. Okay, so this is the boroscope footage in which I had to record the sound separately. You can see there's like a white rim of something there. I'm not sure what that is. Doesn't look like a major problem though. There doesn't seem to be a lot of rust or anything like that. It all seems to be labelled up correctly as well, which is fine. So we're up to the other cylinder now. So there is on the left hand side there is something jamming up the bore. And I'm not sure what that is, but it's probably rust. It might be old oil, but it's probably rust. It looks like a caterpillar, doesn't it? Okay, so we had a loose wire, and it's actually got a screw fit in it, which is a strange thing to do for a boat motor. You'd think they would just seal it, wouldn't you? But I guess things were different in the 60s. So that is the end of it. As you can see, there is good wire there in that, so there's potential to put that back as long as the coil actually does work. So we'll test that next. So I'm just having a look at the carburetor here, and the choke is jammed solid. You can see there it's completely stuck, and the throttle's okay, but that hose there is pretty crusty. It is actually not flexible at all, which is not very good really. That'll need to be replaced, I think. That just lifts away. Crusty, as they say. Oh, look at that. That's not good. God, in the 60s they used to make engines so difficult to work on. And people say you don't get a lot of room in modern engines, but they are a lot easier to work on. And some of the things they used to do in the 60s are so tricky. Getting spanners into really tricky places. And I guess when you're a manufacturer, you assume that your engine isn't going to go rusty. Be standing around for 10 years. So you assume that you can just undo that nut, it'll be fine. The fact that it's got 10 years of patina on it doesn't seem to occur to them. That's going to fill the whole motor case with boiling water. But it is a boat motor, so it should be alright. Oh, look at that, that's loosened it up no end. Brilliant. Okay, so I've actually loosened the choke off. That was not easy. They don't make it easy, these 60s guys, do they? They got a little bolt on the back of it and an immensely long thread, which is just absolutely no need for it to be that long. So there we go. So the cab should now lift out, which it does. So what I'm seeing in here appears to be a set of reed valves. Yeah, they're definitely reed valves. Okay folks, so that brings us to the end of this little video. Looks like we've got some reed valves and they look in really good condition. And then we've got a carburettor, which actually, you know, the choke there is stuck. It does look a bit rough on the outside, but when you look at the other side, it actually doesn't look too bad. So we need to free all that up and get it cleaned up. And then we've got a couple of coils. Both need testing, and one of them's got like the lead has come off them, but it's a screw fit lead, so that should be okay. And we've got spark plugs which had slightly large gaps, I think. Well, 0.7 and 0.5. I don't know if they're supposed to be 0.2 or something like that. But so the next video we'll do a bit of testing of these and see how far we get, and we'll try and do a bit of more work on freeing up the engine, which we now know to be stuck. We need to get the flywheel cowl off, but these slot-head screws are pretty difficult to remove, especially in a location like that where you can't get anything around the side of them. It might have to be drilled out, I'm not sure. It's going to need a long drill even then, you know what I mean? So we'll see what we've got to do with those. Might have to use a bit of heat or something like that, so we'll see. We need to get this flywheel cowl off, and underneath there's sort of flywheel stroke magneto, and these are a tricky problem because they are crosshead screws. They're going into what is essentially pot metal. They're made of steel and they've been there a while. I'll try to do that next video, so thanks so much for watching folks, and I'll see you next